Concrete is popular not only in Minneapolis but all over Minnesota just because of its strength and durability. It's long lasting, right? So if you compare it to other driveway options, it is maintenance free. You do not have to seal coat it. You do not have to keep up with it. It is a clean and used product. You know, when it comes to Minnesota winters, you shovel it. We recommend using a sand or some sort of mixture, not salt or any sort of ice melt, but it is truly maintenance free. Concrete will generally be a little bit more expensive, but it also is going to double, if not triple, the lifespan of other products. And that goes for just having a standard gravel driveway that you have to keep up with that continues to have potholes, or if you have an asphalt driveway. Going concrete means that you can trust your product to be there day in and year out for your lifespan and hopefully the next homeowners too. First and foremost, when we remove the driveway, we see what's going on underneath. That's the most important thing, is we want to find out what is underneath that driveway and what can we do to make it better than it currently is. So by doing that, we'll do a base inspection, we'll check everything out and make sure that you have good quality subsoil underneath your driveway. And then we'll go into the foundation areas, which I talked about before. We'll just take a look at what's going on with those block. Minnesota winters, it's very common for those first 1 or 2 courses of block to be deteriorated because of the salt and the snow that will melt off the cars. That will eventually get into that block, deteriorate that block. So we want to check that out too. So those are the first 2 things that we'll do once we get into the driveway. After that, we'll begin to pack the driveway, prepping the base, setting our forms, all that's been done, making sure that we have adequate and proper water pitch away from any building areas and having the water go to the homeowner's preferred area. And then after that, we will do a broom non-slip finish on the concrete if that's what the homeowner has requested. Inside that mix design again is that matrix fiber E5 internal cure and seal, a 4,500 pound mix design. That's 4,500 PSI per square inch that we are confidently putting down. After that, the cut crew comes in. They'll come in, cut all the lines, strip all the forms, clean up any of the mess that we left behind. Homeowners are then able to walk on the driveway, and then 10 days later they can drive on it. A common problem that we'll see, and it's very common in Minnesota, is to have the snow and salt run off their vehicle in the garage and then go right at the front of their garage door to where somebody would see their apron or asphalt driveway or concrete driveway begin to start. And once we remove the old, we can see those block that are underneath your garage door, and we can find out, okay, are they solid or are they not? If they're not, we'll begin to remove down as far as we need to until we find good block. There's a few different options, but our most common solution is to do a foundation repair. So what we'll do is we'll pour concrete up to the existing garage floor level to make sure that everything's solidified, either separating it with a material before we pour our new concrete on top, or actually giving it time to cure before we continue to come put in our new driveway again on top. So when it comes to finding a course or 2 of block, we tend to just throw that in, and it's once we get below that 2 course of block area, we will then charge a change order. $500 around there is to be expected. It depends on how many block, depends on how many driveway stalls, and obviously it depends on how deep, but a course or 2 is thrown into the project itself. So going with Cornerstone Concrete, we have a proven process, and where we spend a lot of hard time making sure that our process, number one, is good, but then actually our guys out in the field know how to execute that process. That comes all the way from our tear-out crews showing up, having an adequate understanding of what's going on with this project from our sales team. They're fully ready to attack the tear-out, and then it goes right into the next step of our process, which is setup, which is where we begin prepping the base, getting our forms right, making sure that the homeowner's satisfied with the look. Everything's going to be pitching the way that they want, and the water's going to flow to the direction that they choose. And then when we come in to pour, we're making sure that we're pouring on a good base. We have a really good mix design. Everything's been dialed in. The homeowner's fully aware of what's going on and what part of the process we're at. Again, all this is happening within 5 days. After it's been poured, our cut crew comes in. They'll cut those lines in no larger than 6 by 6 squares. The reason we do 6 by 6 squares is to make sure that we're controlling where those cracks happen. Again, part of our proven process to make sure that we're putting down that best product possible. With concrete, they assume that the initial cost is so expensive that it's out of their budget, but our actual break-even point going head-to-head with asphalt is much sooner than expected. You know, just taking into account the fact that they have to do maintenance on an asphalt driveway, whether it's seal coating or ripping up and replacing every 10 to 15 years, what have you, settling away from the garage. All of that stuff, when it comes to choosing Cornerstone Concrete, is, again, one and done. It's done for you, and it's done right.